So real quick, should you build an app from scratch, hire a developer to make it, or should you use what's called an app builder? Now, just a few short years ago, there was no such thing as these app builders. Everything was from scratch. You'd have to post a job on one of these freelancer sites, find someone that knew how to code in the coding stuff to make iPhone apps or the different coding stuff to make Android apps. And you'd have to spec it all out and get someone to know what the different screens are and everything else in order to get them to make it. Times have changed in just the last few years. There are now these app builders, these web-based services that you can drag and drop and create really nice mobile apps that have really powerful functionality. And it's all done from your web browser, making the app. You just pick out what you want in it and upload your logo and different images and things and content, all kinds of stuff. And then, wham, you publish through the service, and then it can create the outputted code that you then upload like to Apple with an App Store account or to Google Play Store with Android or any other version of the app. It creates all those versions at once. And so it's very, very powerful. So that's the question. How should you have your app made? From scratch or using one of these app builders that I just described? Well, if the app you want to have made isn't complicated, then I highly recommend you go to businessapps.com. That's business, B-I-Z. And they have an amazing app builder that they've built and developed over the last few years. And I think it's about $59 a month to host your app. But you can do everything in that thing within reason. You can publish your content, videos, text, anything. You can put email forms. You can connect it to like MailChimp and different email providers. You can't do like a forced opt-in front door. But you can certainly have kind of a menu link that says get our newsletter and then build opt-ins that way. But you can do all kinds of stuff with the functionality they provide through these little kind of widgets and things that you can drag and drop and add to the app you want to build. But it's the fastest and cheapest way to build a pretty decent app for your business, especially if you just want it for branding and you're not going to invest a lot of money in creating a mobile app. There's a lot you can do with an app you can make, like with a service like Business Apps. And, there's just, it's very, very flexible. There's, you can even do online store stuff within the app and try to sell from the app if you sell products. So you can test doing that. But check them out. It's probably the fastest way to get to market with an app. And of course, if you get to market with an app with them, and you're getting a lot of traction, but ultimately you want your app to do more than what theirs can do, well, then you can have a transition where you'll hire someone and say, hey, I want to do what our existing app does, but I'd also like to add this functionality. Then you could pay someone that can go and code it all for you, and then you could have a custom app, and you wouldn't have to pay them $59 a month to host it anymore. But they're definitely a very, very great, it's very strong resource consideration for you if you want to have a mobile app and don't want to have one created from scratch. If you do want to have something complex, you're going to have to hire a developer to make it for you. Check out that App Business Academy bonus course in the extra section that I already mentioned. I give tons of tips on how to find an outsourcer to make mobile apps for you and how to spec it out and how to do all that stuff. And some tips for saving money and making sure they do it the right way and don't rip you off. But those are your only options. You're either going to have it made from scratch and have to hire a developer to make it, or you can use a service like Business Apps that's just a web-based builder and you have to pay them for hosting, but it makes it a lot easier to make. Of course, the third option is if you learn programming on how to make and code iPhone apps or Android apps and you coded it yourself, then that would be your third option. But I don't recommend that. So many people try to study web design and making HTML pages or even app code and all this. It's a waste of time. You as a business owner, your money's best spent on marketing and managing your business, not on learning all these skills and things to make up your business. You can just hire someone to do any of those things, even on a short-term basis. When I say hire, it doesn't mean you're like, hey, come on aboard for $5,000 a month and hopefully I'll be able to afford to keep paying you. No, you pay someone one time and that's it. You pay someone to do a logo design or web page design and then that's it. You don't employ them forever unless you have a very, very busy company where you need a full-time designer or web page creator. But But don't waste your time trying to learn these skills. Especially, I don't recommend you waste your time learning how to code apps from scratch. I just don't think the return on your time will be as great as it will be if you spend your time managing your business and just being a better strategist and marketer. But anyways, that answers the question of if you should build it from scratch or use an app builder.